Hi, I'm Judgment. In this video I would like to talk about character creation. Why do I want to talk about character creation? Because it is apparently not quite obvious as what to do with the character creation, and some people have trouble choosing and go maybe a rather balanced build. So in this video I would like to talk about the character creation. So let's first of all go and create a new character. So we go to new game, open world. Now the appearance doesn't really matter, and there is not much choice here to do currently, but this will definitely change in the future. It is confirmed by the developer. Now when we first open this, it looks like this, and we just need to click on the detailed stats to be able to see the important things. Now, we have, if we look up here, we see we have 4 points left, and there is 4 attributes: agility, strength, intellect, and charisma. So these main stats, like the text down here says, main stats determine your specialization. Once these stats are set, they cannot be changed during the game. This is like the text says, it is impossible to change them. They cannot be increased or decreased or whatsoever. That's not possible, because the game is designed in a way that choices matter a lot, and the stats chosen during character creation are supposed to be very impactful onto the play style, so to speak. So now I would like to talk about possible builds in Gadonia. So the builds are, I prepared this really simple sheet right here. Yeah. So, okay. So first of all, we have, of course, like in every game, we have different ranges. So we have melee and ranged combat. This is like the basic, right? So, and in melee we have currently 3 different options as like what to do, generally speaking. The first one is a 1H1S, means one-handed weapon. So like in one hand, a one-handed weapon, and the 1S means one shield. So basically, this is the you go for a melee one-handed weapon and a shield. We'll talk about the strength and agility and the other stuff later. Then we have the two-handed weapon build, so which means that the character will fight using a two-handed weapon. And the last one, it's 1H1H, which means that the character will wield 2 one-handed weapons, each in one hand. Though currently the only way to dual wield weapons is dual wielding daggers. Then we have the range combat. Now, range is here divided basically into magic, like spell casting, so like direct magical damage, right? And summoning. There is at least one major summoning aspect, the necromancy magic, or like dark magic, where you can actually summon skeleton mages to aid you in battle, which are like super strong. And the other ranged combat is bow and arrow. Now I added, and of course at last, the support. Now you will ask yourself, why would I need to create a support character? We'll get to this at last. I placed it at last because this will mean that you will travel with companions, and by companions I'm talking about NPCs. And since I'm more of a solo player, I don't like any companions which will ruin for me, like pulling of aggro and stuff like this. So that's why I put it at the very bottom. So let's talk about this. Why did I choose to go for at least, so this means at least 3 strength, and a score of 4 is the maximum here, and the least you can have is 0. So before we get into all of this, let's actually see what the stats really do. So strength will increase your health, stamina, and melee damage amount. So health here, stamina here, and melee damage. Let's put 1 point, increases health by 30 and stamina by 10, and the damage by 20%. Another point, another 30 health and 10 stamina, and another 20 melee damage. And the last point, actually, so to go from 3 to 4, it requires 2 points instead of 1 like before. But for the 2 points, you'll get also just 30 health and 10 stamina, but 30% melee damage instead of 20. So at least something, right? So this is what happens if you go for strength. Now let's get this back and go for agility. Now agility will influence your movement speed, and by movement speed we are talking about your sprinting speed and your stamina efficiency. I think stamina efficiency is still a thing, so that's why I'm saying it. So other than this, agility will influence your attack speed, your crit chance, and your range damage. So let's put a few points into agility. 1 point increases crit chance by 3%, attack speed by 20%, and movement speed by 0.1, and your range damage by 20%. Another point gets 15 attack speed this time, right? Yeah, 15 attack speed, 2 crit chance, and 20 range damage. And the last point gets another 15% attack speed, 2 crit chance, and 20 range damage. And of course also increases movement speed by 0.1. So this is like for obviously for a character which deals range damage, and for a character which intends to go for attack speed or like high crit and great maneuverability. Then we have intellect. At 1 intellect we have 0 mana, and with 0 mana we cannot cast spells. If you want to be able to cast spells, you need an int score of at least 2. If your int score is lower lower than 2, but you still get like max mana from items, you will not get max mana from items, because while your int score is at 1, you will be unable to cast spells. That is set in stone. So the first one turns the mana to 140. It also increases your experience gain by 10% and increases your magic damage by 20%. Another point, some more, like 20% more magic damage, another 10% more experience gained, 40 mana, and the last point increases your mana by another 40, XP gained by another 10%, and magic damage by another 20%. So this is the like spellcaster build. We'll talk about this in a moment. So and the last one is charisma. Charisma will influence the trading prices, or let's say the trading efficiency or price efficiency for that matter, and it will influence one of these values. So trading prices increase by 20, another 20, and also reputation gain. This is like in this game there's going to be a faction system. There is already one, but it's not very significant at the moment. So you will be able to gain that reputation faster and get acquainted with a faction in a much faster way than other characters. So let's put another point here. So the trading prices are now at 130% efficiency, like in your advantage, of course. So basically you will buy for 30% cheaper and sell for 30% more. And reputation gain is at 160. Now let's go back to this and look at these things. At charisma score of 4, you'll be able to bring 3 companions. There is a certain amount of different companions in the game. Currently, I think there is like 5 or 6 to choose from, maybe even 7. I don't actually know. Pardon me. But with an int score of 4, you'll be able to bring 3, 2, 1, right? So at a charisma score of 1, no companions. And if you decrease your charisma score to 0, you'll have a trading efficiency of 50%, which means you will sell for half and buy for double, which is not very good for you, but you know, life is difficult. And reputation gain is also decreased, but this is just small things. Now let's also talk about intellect. From these values, now this influences if you are able to wear heavy armor, leather armor, crafting, use magic, how well you can dodge, your sprinting speed and like how well you can do it, whether you can use dual daggers, and the amount of companions you can bring. So to be able to wear heavy armor and use two-handed weapons, you will need a strength score of at least 3. So at 2, it's not possible. At 3, yes. With an int score of 0, you are just too dumb to craft. So if you have an int score of 0, not will you not be able to cast any spells. You won't be able to improve your items, and that's a big deficit here. If you go with this stats, but it's still possible, you know. Nothing is impossible. My God, my voice. Better. Okay, so at least an int score of 1 to be able to craft, at least an int score of 2 to be able to cast spells. Everything above 2 only increases your max mana, experience gained, and the the magic damage multiplier. Now, agility influences whether you can use leather armor. So at agility, no, it's not this. Strength influences whether you can. So you need at least a strength score of 1 to be able to wield, to wear leather armor. So agility is really in this case only for sprinting, and this is the base value 3. It's okay. Then this one increases attack speed and so on, and at agility 3 you unlock the dual wielding daggers. Okay. At 4, you just saw he just made a backflip. He cannot do a backflip at 3 or at 2. Okay, he can, but at 4 you do the backflip much faster than at 3, and this is really useful if you're playing like a bow and arrow build. So this much for this, and of course charisma influences the number of companions you can bring. Companions are available for either buying them off or being like a great leader in sense of having a high charisma score and influencing them in a dialogue. My God, my fucking voice today. So now let's get to this one. I think, I'm not sure about this, but I think for wielding shields, you will need a strength score of 3. But I'm not sure about this. But I wouldn't make a character which goes for a one-handed weapon and a shield and not go heavy armor. That's why I would say this is like the basic, so to speak, paladin build, which will have a one-handed melee weapon a shield and wear heavy armor. So for wearing heavy armor, you would need 3 strength. Then there is the two-handed heavy armor. For two-handed weapons, we learned we need 3 strength at least. The number 4 only increases overall values. Then we have the 2 one-handed weapons, which means there is only, like said before, there's only one possibility in which you can wield 2 one-handed weapons is if you wield 2 daggers. Daggers are great in this game, but it's a matter of whether you like it or not. So, and you need at least 3 agility, because look at this, agility 2, this is still red, agility 3 is green. It will not get better with 4 agility. The only thing that will get better with 4 agility is that you will get an increased attack speed. So there is this. Now ranged combat. Let's quickly do the bow and arrow. In open world, you don't have many options to improve your range damage. That's why I personally would suggest to get your range damage score to as high as possible, which means that you will get like full agility. That's why I said like bow and arrow for agility. With this, you will also be able to do great backflips, which you can use like in a really great way to evade enemy attacks which come into close combat and well, hurt you, of course. So there is so much for this. Now let's talk about magic. Like I said, magic, there is at least two things you can do. The first one is the direct magical damage. So with this, I would go the same way as for range damage. I would go full int on a spellcaster build. Doesn't matter if it's summoning or, well, on summoning maybe not, but at least on direct magical damage, you would want to have your magic damage amplifier to as high as possible. So what do I mean by magic damage amplifier? The thing is, each spell in this game has a base damage. And aside from these stats, for each kind of dealing damage, you have their own stat. So basically there is, for example, arcane magic and there is elemental magic, and each of them has a percentage value, which can be increased with items. You know, like equipping a mage's staff will boost your elemental damage by, I don't know, 20%. But so basically by 20%. Now let's say you have a spell which has a base damage of 10, then it will be increased by 20%, which means it will go to 12 damage from 10 plus 20% is 12. And then you will have this magic damage. This one will also put a factor on the other calculated damage. So those 12 damage will be multiplied with 1.3 or multiplied with 130%. So it's going to be like another 3 damage. So that's why you will want to have your magic damage as high as possible. And also this increases your max mana, which is also very useful. For the purposes of summoning, I might actually not even go like full int, only go like 2, maybe 3 int, and then decide what you want to do with the other points that you have left, because summoning means you can have a total of 4 undead minions, and since there is only skeletons and skeleton mages, you can either have like 4 skeletons or 4 mages or any distribution of them, which together results in 4. Now you could, for example, say, okay, I'll just stay in the back, my minions will go into melee battle, and I'll put the rest into charisma and bring another 2 companions, human companions. Possible, definitely possible. And then you yourself go like as a, for some support magic, or maybe you can also go melee or whatever. That's completely your decision. And now the last build is I called it the support build because it kind of is the support build. Because in this build, you might want to go full charisma, so you can bring the maximum amount of companions, which is 3, and then you'll have like 0 points left. And now you might want to decide what to do, because you might actually want to support those little fuckers by casting magic. But with an int score of 1, you won't be able to cast magic. So you have to take something away from agility or strength, or even both. So for example, you could remove this point from agility and this from strength, and put everything into intellect, for example. So you'll have like great experience gain, trading prices, reputation gain, magic damage, right? And you'll have like more mana to spend on casting more companions more undead more frequently, using more magic. That's up to you. But like these are the basic 3 principles of builds that you can do. So let's sum it up. Melee heavy build, 3 strength required. Melee light build, so like melee dual daggers build, 3 agility, rest is up to you. Ranged magic direct damage build, 4 int. I would totally go the 4 int, it's nice. Summoning something between 2 and 4 int, rest is up to you. Bow and arrow, maximum agility, rest is up to you. Though I must say, whenever I say rest is up to you, I personally would never go below 2 intelligence on any build, because spellcasting is so valuable in this game. But even if you decide, okay, I'm not gonna go like spellcasting, no supporting, then at least leave 1 point into intelligence, so you'll be able to craft, because this will be very, very, very useful. Now my voice is fucking me up again. So like I said, at least 1 intelligence. I would go completely agility free and strength free if I could have 1 intelligence point, right? And the last point, the last build is the charisma, full charisma build. So like 3 charisma and maybe like, I don't know, full intelligence, like I just said. So this is it about creating a character. Like I said, once these stats are set, they will not be able to be changed in any way, not positively nor negatively. So if you realize at level 15, oh fuck, I completely forgot to point like 2 points into intelligence, into intellect, so I can't cast spells. Don't bother like going into Discord and like asking, hey, why not, I don't know, why not allow the player to cast spells even at int score 1? Forget about it. Just create a new character. Level 15 can be achieved within an hour of gameplay at max. So if you know what to do. And there is lots of stuff to explore in this game, and it's wonderful, it's great. So yeah, I hope this video helps you in some way, and yeah. So I also stream this game from time to time. You can check out my Twitch channel, which is in the video description, I think. Well, I guess see you in the next video. Goodbye.